Good morning, friends. Oh, good morning, friends, or good afternoon, or good night, depending on whenever you're doing your math work today. So, this is Math with Miss Acton. Today is September 23rd, 2020. It's Wednesday. I had a family say that their kiddo was having trouble with identifying the season, so I'm going to start including those in my slides that I present to you guys every day. So the season is fall. We know it's fall because winter's coming, so that means the temperatures are starting to drop, starting to get a little bit colder out. You'll start to notice leaves are starting to fall off the tree, kind of what we call it fall. Another word for fall is autumn. So it's just one of the other seasons that we have that we're starting to get into. Today is supposed to be cloudy, but there's not supposed to be any rain today. So go outside and enjoy a little bit of the fresh air if you get a chance today, because it really is supposed to be a nice and pretty day today. So today you are going to be, are you going to go? Hello? Anybody? There we go. So today is Math with Miss Acton, and I believe I skipped over our we will. I will. Maybe not. You guys, technology is just never on my side, is it? All right, so we're doing Math with Miss Acton today, and we're going to be working on even and odd numbers. Pretty fun day today. So what you'll be able to say after you're done, what you'll be able to do after today's math lesson with Miss Acton is I will create a drawing of blocks to determine if a number is even or odd. So basically a problem is going to come up with a number in it, and then you're going to use drawings of blocks, which are those connecting blocks, the unifix cubes that Miss Acton show you, and you know what I'm talking about once we get started, to determine if a number is even or odd. So basically just using a strategy to find out if a number is even or odd. There's 3 different ways that Miss Acton's going to teach you. We got one today, we got a different one tomorrow, Thursday, and then I've got one more on Friday that Miss Acton's going to teach you too, okay? I believe that is our last slide. So I'm going to take you to our Visions Math Workbook, which is where your assignments will be today, to kind of give you a tour because it looks a little bit different because they updated their some of the stuff that they've got on there, which is a good thing because it's a little bit more user friendly for you guys. So you still have pages that look a lot like we did before. But the cool thing is that they built the video, the learning, it's called the visual learning video. They built that into the lesson. So you don't have to worry about um, having to watch an entire video of Miss Ramos, Miss Jester, Miss Acton, watching the video with you, this thing right here, because it's built into your lesson. So you don't have to go all the way back, watch the whole entire video to get to it. It's going to be in your math workbook and kind of a good reminder. So the very first page normally just shows you all the activities. So you have a solve and share, visual learning, a convince me page, a guided practice, independent practice, and problem solving. And these first few just have one problem on each page. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, we used to do 5 pages. Now we have to do 6. They're giving us even more work. I promise you it looks a lot better than what you think it does. So the first one is kind of like a question to get you thinking. I think it's called the solve and share. Yep, sure is, solve and share. So it's just there to get your brain thinking about what our learning is going to be. And the cool thing about the book now, instead of you just having to sit there and maybe get your family to read it for you, it actually reads it for you. So if you click on this,
Draw cubes to make the numbers
volume's
shown.
really low.
Shade all the numbers that can be shown as 2 equal groups of cubes.
What's this
What do you
face?
notice about the numbers you shaded?
Look at this face. Why am I making this face? I don't like that face. So Miss Acton, don't do that face anymore.
Draw
Not cute on
cubes
you.
to make the numbers shown. Shade all the numbers that can be shown as 2 equal groups of cubes. What do you notice about the numbers you shaded?
So it wants us to make each one of these with cubes, and you know if you've been working in your visual or virtual tools that we actually have connecting cubes as one of our virtual tools. I like the blue. I'm always going for the blue. So we can show the number 1, haha. Then we can show the number 2, haha. So basically what it's saying is that you can show 2 equal groups of cubes. So this number is 2 right here. Is this two equal groups? Is this group that has 1 in it the same as this group right here? Yeah, this group has 1 and this group has 1, so they're equal. So number 2, oh, I don't know what it wants me to do there. So number 2, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to say, yeah. Oh, that's not cool. Can I undo that? I sure can. There's an undo button. So I'm going to just draw a circle around the number 2 to show it that, yes, number 2 has an equal group of blocks. So now let's do the number 3. So we've got the number 3 right there. So this group has 2 in it and this group has 1. So those groups equal? No, they're not. This one has 2 in it and this one has 1 in it. So I wouldn't shade the 3. Let's try 4 now. So is this group equal to this group? Yes, they both have 2 in it. So it's shade my number 4. And then what you're going to start to notice is that all the numbers switch back and forth. So now we've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So is this group up here equal to this group down here? No, this one has 1, 2, 3, and this one has 2. So I don't shade 5. Let's do 6. Is the top group the same as the bottom group? Yes. Good job. So as you start to notice, every time that you add a block to the top one, it makes the groups not even anymore. Not even groups anymore, so it is an odd number. And then whenever you add it to the bottom group, it evens the two groups back up, making it an even number. So it just switches back and forth. So Miss Acton's not going to finish doing all of those because you're going to notice that it's just every other number. It goes back and forth from odd to even, odd to even, odd to even. That's because you're adding a block to the top group, making them not even. The bottom group has less, and then you're adding a block to the bottom group, even them back up, making it an even number. And basically, even numbers, the definition, what it means is that it has equal groups of 2. So if you take a look at our groups of blocks right here, we've got one group of 2, one group of 2. That circle is terrible. One group of 2, and another group of 2. So each one of these has a pair, making it an even number. If it's not an even number, then there's always an odd man out. An odd man out. He does not have a buddy, making it an odd number. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at some of the next pages. So the next page that we have is the learning for the day. So that first page is always just try to get your brain moving and thinking to see if you can figure out what the learning is before it even starts. And then it always gives you like a 2, maybe 3-minute video teaching you what the learning is. So we're going to listen to that real quick. Hopefully you guys recognize this guy.
How can you tell if a number is even or odd? You can use cubes to find out. A number is even when it can be shown as 2 equal parts. Is the number 8 even or odd?
So it took the number 8, which was a long stick that had 8 of these connecting cubes together, and they broke it in half as close as they could get it. And then they stacked them on top of each other, which is how you would do it if we were in the classroom. If you were Miss Acton, Miss Ramos, or Miss Just Room, the day that we start doing even and odd numbers, you would be using connecting blocks at your desk. So we've got the even and odd numbers. So to each one of these have a pair. Is the top group the same as the bottom group? Yes, they both have 4 on the top and the bottom, so that makes 8 an even number.
The number 8 is even. How do you know the number 8 is even?
The Miss Acton kind of just told you that because the top group and the bottom group are the same. The bottom group and the top group are even with each other. They each have a partner and it makes them an even number. There's not an odd man out.
The number 8 is even because you can separate the train of 8 cubes into 2 equal parts of 4 cubes each. A number is odd when it cannot be shown as two equal parts. Is the number 9 even or odd?
So you should automatically know whether 9 is even or odd just by looking at these blocks right here. There's this guy hanging out all by himself. So that means that these two groups are not even, making this number odd.
The number 9 is odd. How do you know the number 9 is odd?
As the two groups are different. They're not even with each other.
The number 9 is odd because you cannot separate the train of 9 cubes into two equal parts. What are some other even numbers and what are some other odd numbers?
All right, so this next part,
The ones digit tells you if
I don't want to keep playing it because it's what our learning is going to be tomorrow. So it starts to talk about bigger numbers and kind of a shortcut that you can use. But I don't want to do that today because that's two different pieces of learning. So I want to keep that for a separate day. And because we can go up to numbers like in the thousands, even the millions. And this short little part only goes up to the number 20. But I want to show you how you can choose any number. You can make up the biggest, craziest number that you've ever seen and a really easy shortcut to tell whether it's an even or odd number, but that's for a different day. So we're going to stop the video and move on to keep giving you the tour of the workbook that you guys have now. And the cool thing about this is you'll find is the first few pages have these little boxes, these little speaker boxes that will read the problem to you. So click on those, listen to what it has to say, and then use your virtual tools to help you solve this. So this one just gives you a problem where you have a tower of cubes and you break them apart and they give you two equal parts, but there's one cube that's just hanging out. And that cube still counts, whether or not that number is even or odd. So use the stamps that you guys have over there for your connecting cubes to help you solve that equation. And then next you start to see some pages, I'm pretty sure that look familiar. They look like your old workbook pages. There you go. So as you can see, most of these only have one problem on them. So even though there's more pages to do now, there's actually less work for you to do. And one page wasn't even any problems. It was just sitting there watching the video. So right here gives you an example. 14 is really the number 7 plus 7. And it's an even number because both of those groups match. There's not an odd man out. Both of these groups are even. Now the number 19, there's one little guy hanging out by himself. There's an odd man out. So that should give you a hint of what this number is. And then for the equation, you would just add the first group plus the second group and then give an answer, which it already gave you the answer. You already know how many blocks are there. And then this page looks just like you would see in your workbook if we were in our classroom. So just have some more practice. There's some groups of blocks that tells you what the number is. You need to decide if it's odd or even, these first three, and then give an equation. And then number 6, 7, and 8 doesn't give you the blocks, but you can still draw them on a scrap sheet of paper if you need to use them. Or if you type in interactive Unifix cubes, you can find all kinds of websites that do that too. But it is not hard to draw blocks to represent your Unifix cubes. So you got the number 17, 10, and 5. So you're going to decide is that an even or odd number, and then you're going to draw the equation of how you would, as close as you can, break that number in two, just like the number 16, 13, and 20 up here. And then we have a word problem that wants to know if 12 and 21 is even or odd, if that's true or false. Excuse me. And then we have a few more word problems. In this part, it doesn't read it to you, so you might need to get your families to help read that to you. I wish it did, but these are actual pages that would be in your math workbook if we were in the classroom. And this is the last page. That's it. So even though there's more pages you're supposed to do, it's a lot less work. So once you do this, up at the top is where you would push up here. I think it says submit work. So make sure you push that way you get the credit for the work that you did, okay? So that was kind of just a little tour of our math workbook, but now Miss Acton wants to do some more math stuff with you guys before I send you off to do it on your own. That way you're prepared for it, okay? So we're in our Jamboard. So I have a group of Unifix cubes right here. This is a picture that I found on the internet and just cropped it down to fit in this page. And I just want to know something that you notice first off. So examine the picture, take a look at it, and tell me something you notice. Remember, notice is just something that you see, and it can be a good thing or a bad thing. What was that? Speak up, I can't hear you. Oh, God, I'm awake now. Why are you guys always yelling at me? The train of blocks are the same. Good. So if the train of blocks are both the same, they have the same number on top and the same number on the bottom, what does that mean? Take a look at that. It's got the same number on top and the same number on the bottom. That means they are two even groups. So what does that tell you about the number? We don't know what the number is yet. I mean, you may have counted it, but I haven't said it. We don't know what this number is, but we definitely know that whatever this number is, it is even. Yeah, it's an even number. It is an even number because, it has two equal groups. Oh, I'm sweating all of a sudden. Talking about even and odd numbers, it's my blood pumping, I guess. All right, so let's do the obvious thing that we need to notice. What's our number? We know it's even. We know it can be broken into two different trains that have the same amount, even groups. What is our number? Right, our number is 10. Let's do some yellow. The number is 10. Yeah. So no matter when 10 shows up in your life, if you ever run into the number 10 in anything, 10 basketballs, 10 hours, 10 games, $10, and someone asks you if that's an even or odd number, if you can break it into two equal groups, it's always yes, no matter what. All right, so let's try a different group. So hopefully, if you've been focused during this whole video, you already know what this number is, whether it's even or odd, and you can be ready to move on. But if you do not know what this number is, all you have to see is that there is an odd man out. Every single block has a buddy. This whole number is even up until we get to this spot where this block does not have a buddy anymore. So let's figure out what the number is first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So our number is 11. I actually want that to be thicker. So our number is 11. Sloppiest 11 I think I've ever made, but it works. So this number is 11. Is the number even or odd? Well, we have an odd man out. This guy does not have a buddy. Everyone else does. So this number is odd. Can we show this number as an equation? Absolutely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1, 2. Do I need to count that? No. If this is 5 and this one has one more than 5, what's one more than 5? 5, 6. 5 plus 6, and I already know my number is 11, so we know that equals 11. So we know no matter how you run into the number 11, I've got 11 dogs, I've got 11 pairs of shoes, I got 11 Takis that I'm going to eat for dinner later. 11 will always be an odd number, okay? All right, let's try another one. All right, so these blocks are facing this way. So at one point, this was a whole train of blocks. And what was the train of blocks? How much did it equal to? 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It equaled 17. Someone asked you, is it even or odd? Is the number 17 an odd number or is it an even number? And you said, well, I need to find out if it's two equal groups. So I'm going to break it in two as close as I can. So you have this first chunk and this second chunk. To find out if it's even, it has to have the same amount on the top section and on the bottom section. Is that true? It is not. This guy does not have a buddy. This makes these two uneven, not even. This guy has an odd man out. He's all by himself. He doesn't have anybody. So this number is odd. O-D-D, odd. How do we show this number as an equation? Well, the top one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do I need to count how many down here? You better not. If you know this is 8 and this has one more, you just do one more than 8, which is 9. And we already know our answer because we already counted it. 17. So again, for the rest of your life, it does not matter what you have of 17. 17 cats, 17 apples, 17 days. If someone asked you, is that number even or odd? It'll be odd every single time, okay? All right, so this one we have two different groups. So this one's kind of facing up and down, but you can still tell if the groups of blocks are even or odd. So remember, if they're even, they each have a buddy. Buddies, 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 best friends, pals, amigos, buddies. Is there an odd man out? An odd man out? No. This group and this group are even with each other. So no matter what this number ends up being when we count it, it's going to be even. Now let's find out what that number is that makes it even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So our number is 14. So no matter what, 14 whatevers, $14, 14 babies, 14 toys. 14 will always, always, always be an even number. So this one's easy because you don't have to count the two different chunks of blocks. You just count one because they're the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the equation for this group of blocks or train of blocks will be 7 plus 7 equals 14. And 14 will always be an even number to the day that you die. Okay? All right, so this last one is kind of a word problem to make you think. But you have to be able to use those trains, use the blocks to help you, the connecting cubes to help solve this. So it says Killian, who's a friend in my class, he's our celebrity today. Killian plays on Killian plays on his Nintendo Switch for 4 hours on Monday. 4 hours on Monday. That's important. I mean, good color. Oh, we already have yellow. Yellow's the words. I want this to pop. 4 hours on Monday. He plays for 6 hours on Tuesday. Is the amount of hours he played an even or odd number? So I have to figure out if the 6 hours and the 4 hours all together is an even or odd number. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find me a shape. I'm going to pick squares. Looks like it's going to be blue. That's fine. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I know these don't look exactly like my connecting cubes, but this is just a way to show you that you don't need actual connecting cubes to be able to tell. And you guys can draw cubes like this on a piece of paper to be able to solve those problems in your math workbook that you're doing today. Okay, so I've got the 4 hours on Monday. I'm going to cross that bad boy out. Took care of him. Now I need to show my 6 hours on Tuesday. Let's do red and red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to line those up. And then to make my job easier, I know that if I line my blocks up with the blocks from Monday, the 4 hours, if they have an even group, if the groups are even, then I know that my number is even. But look, so I'm going to grab a different color pen. So look, even, The group looks good, looks fantastic. But then when I get to here, this guy and this guy do not have a buddy. They don't have a partner. So that means that this group and this group are not even according to this drawing. So what would that make our number if the two groups are not even? If the two groups are not even, what would that make our number? What's the opposite of even? It will make our number odd, right? I mean, that's the strategy Miss Acton has been teaching me. That's what the video showed me. If the two groups on the top and on the bottom don't match, then it's obviously an odd number. Well, watch this. And some of you might already see this already. What if this block got moved right here? Take a look at that picture while I erase these nasty sloppy arrows that don't need to be there anymore. Think about that. Are our two groups even now? Is the group on top and the group on bottom, do they match each other? Are they the same? So our number really is not odd anymore, is it? What is it? It is an even number, right? So when you guys are breaking apart your cubes, whether it's with a drawing or actually having connecting cubes or in person, you have to make sure you pay attention that no matter how many times that you move those blocks around, that you can't get two equal groups, because if you can, the number is even. So Miss Acton showed you how I made two different groups and it looked like it was an odd number, but I didn't make my groups even with each other. I had to make sure that I had all of the blocks in the right place to show that, oh, everybody does have a buddy. These guys have a buddy, buddy, pal, amigo, best bud. So this number is even. Everybody's got a best bud. And the equation that would go with this number would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1. Oh, I don't need to count that. My two groups are even. They're the same. So that means it's 5 plus 5 equals, and hopefully you know what that is already, but if not, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Your answer is 10, and 10 is an even number, will always be an even number to the day that you die. 10 will always be an even number. All right, guys, so hopefully you like the challenge of this one today. And just remember, when you get done with this video, that you're going to go into your classwork and open up your Envisions math workbook. And remember to use those speakers to help you, okay? So thank you so much for watching Miss Acton. Before we go, I guess hi, kids. She was getting so mad at me during that video. My mom called all the way through. She's my baby. She's a chunky butt, but she's my baby. All right, friends. So hopefully you have a good rest of your day. Get your math, reading, and writing done. If you have any trouble, please contact your teacher. Miss Acton loves you. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.